Hello, everyone. I am Margaret Swift Thompson of Embrace Family Recovery, and I am jumping on to do a quick solo about partners. So, one of the reasons I'm doing it is starting next week, the 28th of February, every month, I will be offering 2 Wednesday evening groups for people who love someone in a partnership or were in a partnership and love someone with the disease of addiction. And why am I doing this? Well, this hits me right here because this is my entree into my own recovery. I was in love with and engaged to a really great guy who, unbeknownst to me, had a sexual addiction. And I did not know this through our relationship. And when it came to light, it was one of those things where I struggled so much to understand the impact this relationship had on me, but also to be able to separate the person from the disease. I had no comprehension of doing that. I didn't know that I needed to do that. My logical thinking when this all came to light was, if I love him more, if I treat him more lovingly, if I care for him, if I support every venture of his to get help, then he will be okay. I did not understand addiction. And I say that not as a shameful thing, but as a reality. I was a master's educated counselor at this point in my life when this happened. And I had been to courses for counseling. I had no true awareness of addiction as a no-fault disease. I really don't remember, maybe I blocked it. I might have avoided it, learning about addiction. And when this happened to me, I didn't understand then what I now know, which was a pathological relationship with a substance or a behavior that supersedes every other human need a person has is what addiction is. And so all of my logical approaches, my loving support were not enough to help him find wellness. He had to want to do it. He had to do the hard work to do it, and he had to make the steps to do it. And in our story, that did not happen. The relationship ended by him because he was not engaging in a different wellness lifestyle. And the hardest part about admitting that he ended it was that I did not have the self-worth, self-love, or courage to end the relationship. I felt, now that I knew and he admitted he wanted help, I was all in and had to be all in to help him. And I didn't even stop to think about what I had experienced, what I had gone through, what I was feeling, what my needs were. I was all about him 24/7. As I say in my language, my drug of no choice at that time was a walking, talking human being. And I did everything around him that he was doing around his addiction. Again, I didn't know this at the time. What I did know was everyone around me had an opinion. Everyone around me had a diagnosis or an explanation, whether it be saying what was wrong with him or what was wrong with me. And I also know that I struggled with isolation because as I was met with reactions from people of, you should do this, or what is wrong with you? Why would you be in this? What would make you think it was okay to be with this person when it ended? Why aren't you relieved? Why aren't you so relieved that it's over? I isolated more and more. I lost contact with friends. I tried to avoid my family's involvement, A, to protect him, which was the way I was feeling at the time, and B, because I felt like such a loser. Like, what's wrong with me that I was attracting someone who was that dishonest with me in their addiction? And the reason I wanted to do this partners group is that every dynamic that we find ourselves in, whether it's a parent, a partner, a sibling, a child, has its own nuances. And one of the things that happens within the partner relationship is the partner who's not the person with the addiction often gets very maternal, paternal, parent-like, and controlling, and trying to fix, manage, and care and control for the person. And that's not something that can sustain us if we want a healthy future partnership. Because if we stay in the role of that parent or that controller, we're pursuing a relationship with someone who we are belittling. And I say this with love and compassion for those of you who find yourself in this position, because I relate totally to being there. And there is no malintent when we find ourselves there. I think for me, I was in so much pain in my own soul, my own body, my own mind, my spirit, that I couldn't begin to look at it. I was too fixated on him because that was a better thing for me to look at. It felt less scary, even though it was terrifying. It felt like I had more productivity or potential productivity there, when really I didn't. I believe the disease of addiction thrives in isolation. I know as a family member, my monkey chatter thrives in isolation. And because my monkey chatter uses my voice to natter away at me about what I should or should not do and how I should or should not show up, it's really hard to discern what is healthy for me out of what I'm hearing and what is not healthy for me. And part of the journey of this group will be to help us learn to separate the person from their disease in word, thought, and action, and ourself from our monkey in word, thought, and action. There's a lot of judgment out there. And I think judgment comes from a place of safety or a false sense of safety. It's similar with addiction as it is with loss. People who cannot comprehend how it must feel to lose someone dear tend to avoid talking to a person who's lost someone. And people who cannot comprehend how one would navigate loving someone who's a partner with the disease of addiction tend to avoid or turn to judgment. And I always encourage my loved ones to share things like, I understand you're trying to help. However, I'd appreciate it if you didn't give opinions until you've walked in my shoes. So what a group like a partner coaching group offer is a place to be amongst people who've walked the path you're walking. People who have been at various points on the journey and are at various points on the journey that may be different and similar to you. The other thing that I think is amazing about a group with partners is that you'll get an opportunity to feel less alone, to be able to look in the mirror. So one of the powerful things about group that does not happen when you do individual coaching is when you're in a room with other people on the path and you have people sharing their experience, strength, and hope and their journey, there are things that you will hear in their shares that absolutely resonate with you because they're part of your journey, but you may have forgotten it, blocked it, denied it. It may be the first time you might feel like you're not alone. It may be the first time that you don't beat yourself up for woulda, coulda, shouldas. They don't help you. They don't help your partner. And I want to extend that this group is not only for people in partnerships presently with people who have the disease of addiction, no matter where they are on their journey, because unfortunately, we know that people with the disease of addiction get a lot of resources offered to them, whereas family members get crumbs. So you may find that your loved one is 6 months into recovery, 6 years into recovery, and you feel stuck in lack of trust or betrayal or feeling left out when they go to meetings, because why can't you be the one they turn to? There's a really good reason why we can't be our partner's sponsor or the one they turn to. There's a really good reason that people who work 12-step recovery do that work with a sponsor, not a family member or a partner. And this may sound foreign to you, and I'm going to encourage you to join our group to learn. There'll be an education component, but the more important part will be a connection component. I really want you to get the help you deserve, get the understanding you deserve, and get the support you so desperately need and deserve. Some of you, this may not be the first time your life has been impacted by the disease of addiction. In my many years of working in this field, I have met people who have grown up in family homes with the disease of addiction. And when they end up in a partnership, all of that historical pain, trauma, and undealt with grief shows up in the current relationship and compounds the stressors in that relationship. I want partners to know you cannot make your loved one use, and you cannot make your loved one recover. And if we don't get our own help, we will definitely continue trying to do the not make someone use and make someone recover plan when loving this person. I want you to know you are not alone. I've been there, and I thought it was going to take me out. What caused me to have the life I have now and the partner I have now is my own personal work on myself, understanding this no-fault disease, understanding how it impacted me and impacted the way that I focused on life, went after life, lived my life. And there was some unlearning I had to do to be able to have a healthy, loving partnership with the man I've been married to over 25 years. I couldn't have had this relationship without working on myself. And I believe this is true within the relationship with the partner who has the disease of addiction also. You're welcome if you're in that relationship, if that relationship is going well, if that relationship is on the rocks, if that relationship has ended. You are welcome whether your loved one is in recovery or is not. You're welcome if that person you loved who exposed you to this no-fault disease in a partnership is no longer in your life. Just don't be alone. Not with this pain and this isolation and this turmoil that is created by this disease. And this disease often gets off scot-free. And I don't want that to be the case, because when it gets off scot-free, we're blaming ourselves or someone else. We're beating up ourselves or someone else. And that makes me crazy, because that is exactly what the monkey and the disease want us to do, instead of putting the blame where the blame goes, at the foot of a disease that no one asked for and no one wanted, but is in our lives. So come get the support you deserve. Come meet with these incredible partners, and let's grow in our recoveries together. Until next time, take care of you. Please find resources on my website, embracefamilyrecovery.com. This is Margaret Swift Thompson. Until next time, please take care of you.